I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna
Alexa, go to Amazon Music, Salty Coffee Podcast.
Playing Salty Coffee Podcast from Amazon Music. Here's Season 4, episode Outside the Box Asylums and Healthcare. How Did We Get Here?
Hello, how's everyone doing today? This is Wanda, the host of Salty Coffee, and we're just going to do a quick 2022 review. Some people have been invited to join us today. Some of our favorites, Miss Shelby, um, a couple of people from Stereo. We've invited Mark. We've invited Robles from the Robles Capital, the Guru. So we're just going to review really quick everything that happened in 2022. 2022 was a year of learning, pretty much still. And hopefully, I will have the opportunity to learn some more in 2023. But I think with every year that comes by, I feel that I've gotten a little better. I could do a lot better once I get the equipment and I get the work that I really need to get done, that I would like to do. But I am so proud of the Salty Coffee podcast and how it's growing, um, to the point where I feel okay about the stuff that I've been talking about. And I know season three is mixed in with season four for the year 2022. And one of the things that I want people to understand, one, the reason of adding people to the Salty Coffee podcast, is one, something that we're going to talk about. Two, is I want to remind people what the Salty Coffee is about and why I started it. And hopefully, I can get to talk about that tonight with some of you. If you are watching now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, or Twitter, please feel free, or on our website, please feel free to let us know what questions you have, if you have any, and what you would like to know more about when it comes to the Salty Coffee podcast. People ask me all the time, well, what is in the podcast about? And sometimes it's very difficult to answer that, to not extremely difficult, because it's a wide range of topics and it's for everyone. It's not just for women specifically, even though that's where it started originally, to support women wherever needed, in whichever way. But more importantly, it's for everyone, because as Salty Coffee has interviewed other people, I've noticed where there are husbands, where there are fathers, where there are men in women's lives who really support them. For example, I will forever continue to say this, but I am so thankful for the men that actually helped me in my life. So I think it's important for us to just grow with that, and but still keep the focus on helping women. Um, I have a special guest with me, which is my co host for Outside the Box, and he is here. with me. But man, 2022, like if I go back from January, I do remember in January we did some replays from season 2. So the ways Salty Coffee's episodes were working was the concept was to do 25 episodes for every season. For 2022, with this episode and the one that's going to happen after this one, for Outside the Box, it's a total of 57 episodes. And what I want people to understand is that originally when I started, I just wanted to tell my story of when my mom passed away and I was 19, followed by starting to work at Columbia University, followed by, a range of things that has happened in New York, specifically through COVID, and why I started the podcast. So, telling my story with my mother's death was not easy for me. And of course, that was a learning experience. And one of the things that I really wanted to focus on was to make sure that uh, I just showed I wanted to just tell my story and use my voice, right? And then in learning how the algorithm works and learning what platforms bring more people in and what how the whole system works, because I have to tell you, I didn't pay anyone to teach me how to do this. I It was very difficult to find free information, for one, and two, the information is out there. You just really need to, the best advice that I would have if you want to start a podcast is to just do it. If you're a good speaker and you're a good person that knows how to articulate or tell your story, just do it. Just do it, and stop worrying about what mic you have or what equipment you don't have. And everything looks so fancy. Everything looks so it doesn't have to be that way. Um, for me, I just wanted to make sure that I had a structure and that I keep it, consistent. And I wish I could do more, really, but I just full time employee somewhere else. So it's kind of difficult at the same time. And also, people already know that I've always wanted to learn new gigs and how to make extra money. But 2022, now COVID somewhat is over. Work was really overwhelming for me. And, it was just a year that just flew, if you think about it. And the way at my age, now 52, when I turned 52, I did an episode on that and how I felt in February. Um, I felt kind of sad because my mom had passed away at 52. So when she was 52 years old. So that was kind of like, a bittersweet birthday, but I made it. And I think we really need to focus on ourselves. And I did a couple of series on self care, which was called the Self Care Sundays. And those episodes are awesome because really, women in particular, we try to do everything. Some women have the luxury of being able to go to the hair salon or the nail salon, while there are others who are moms, single moms specifically, are not able to do that. So I think it's important for us to really help others on how we do it. People always comment on my hair. How do you get your hair like that? And what do you do? And for 50, well, okay, not 52, but I'll say when I started learning how to do my own hair, it was about when I was 10 years old. So 42 years, I can do rollers in my sleep. I sleep with them, I air dry it, and then I just do what I need to do to make it look fabulous. My natural hair, I remember cutting my hair in 2013 is when I actually cut my hair, uh, all of it, because I used to relax my hair. So that was kind of not so healthy thing to do. So I'm going to go a little bit through what happened in 2022. As you know, we reinvited Miss Shelby from Mississippi, who still supports the salty coffee. She's done two since she came to Salty Coffee. She's done two new singles. Put It On Me, and she has a new one, oh, I totally forgot the name of the song. That's not good. Ride It Like a Rodeo.
Hey, ladies, how y'all doing out there? I got something I want to say. So come on and pull up a chair and let's talk about these sorry men. Because 95% of them all talk and no action. I had a guy that was chasing me down talking about what all we could do. So I took him up on his offer, y'all. Yeah, he wined and dined. And after that, he took me back to the room. But ladies, don't let these men fool y'all.
Don't let these men fool y'all. Man, oh man, Miss Shelby, I love you. She comes up with the most amazing songs, and I haven't had a chance to listen to the new single, but please feel free. She can be found. She's a verified artist on Spotify, so she can be found on Spotify. So make sure that you go out there and get her songs, and play them on Spotify. That's one of the best ways to support people, when you put it on your playlist, when you share it, when you click on it, when you heart it. Those are the simple ways and simple free ways to do it. If you have an account on Spotify, or if you don't have an account on Spotify, go to Facebook and go to her page and follow her and subscribe to her um, fans page. Whatever it is that we can do from here on this end. Most of the information is on my website, www.saltycoffeepodcast.com. But she's amazing. Another interesting interview that we had this year was with Bamblish, and Bamblish is a company that supports women with women periods, and that was an amazing talk and very serious discussion, because not only does her product um, help health wise for women, but it saves also the environment, where you're not using toxic chemicals to make these products for women that actually create health care issues moving forward.
I'm staying in bed thinking back on us and everything that went wrong. Never said goodbye, think I broke your trust, should've known this all along. Don't wanna be the one that you're trying to avoid. I'm feeling so confused, why did I act so annoyed? 'Cause I don't wanna be strangers, baby. The next time when we meet, and oh, it dawned on me.
Yeah, it dawned on me. But she has great products. The panties for periods are amazing. They have saved me a lot of money, a lot of time. And so I've purchased, I believe I have four. I can remember. Yeah, it's four of them. And also I will be purchasing the cup, which I just haven't had the chance to do that. But please make sure you visit bamblish.com for her website, and where you can find her products and her information. And she's gonna start like a new, like a sharing information blog or vlog, where people can come in and ask her questions about the product. If you have any issues or anything like that, she's quick to respond. She's very good, and she's up to date with what people want, from all ages, because she also has for young little girls. One of the most amazing things that happened in 2022 for Salty Coffee was the implementation of Amazon Music. And we are now. Alexa, go to Amazon Music, Salty Coffee Podcast.
Playing Salty Coffee Podcast from Amazon Music. Here's Season 4, Episode, Outside the Box Asylums and Healthcare. How did we get here?
So, yeah, so I'm excited that not only are we on Amazon Music, but I Google Salty Coffee Podcast often, and I found myself in places that I didn't even know I was without an effort. And I think that's amazing. And I think people who have given up or not sure or don't know how to navigate this podcasting world, I think you can get a lot of information, good information from a lot of podcasters. Podcasting is growing more, and I think it just gives the opportunity for people like myself and like people, normal people who work 9 to 5 jobs, the opportunity to tell this story and to be genuine about it and to be authentic. And we're not spending millions of dollars to sell a product for you to spend hundreds of dollars to buy it. So what we're selling is something that's you can't put a price on it, but it can save you a lot of time and a lot of money if you really listen carefully. Um, One of the things that was amazing for me was because of COVID, I'm a traveler, and people know that I travel a lot. And one of the hurtful things for me was not being able to do that through COVID. So it was about a year and a half. And then, I took little trips here and there, but they were very uncomfortable trips because you had to like either have the mask or have your vaccination ready. And it was just a little bit uncomfortable. So I thought it was really amazing, my trip to Alaska. I loved my trip to Alaska, and I will continue to. Let me see if this is a video of it. Think about me one. That's not it. Sorry. Um, but Alaska, to me, it was a cruise, and we did a couple of stops. And I think I just was so in love with the calmness. The it was organic. Everything was real. Like they promote products that are made only in Alaska. Even though by law they have to allow other people to come and sell, but they do promote that you purchase things that are made in Alaska, including their amazing salmon. And I got that in Juneau. I did gold panning in Juneau, and gold panning is literally you just take a little plate with a little syringe thing, and you just throw the pan, this little brass pan, you go in and you dig for gold. And so I got like $3 worth of gold, and they put it in a little bottle for you, or they show you how to put it in a bottle. And that was amazing. I did what I always am dying to do all the time, which is do something adventurous. And I did do the zip liner, which is one of the largest zip liners, they say, in the world. So it's as high as the Empire State Building. It is as long as, uh, I think it was, I can't remember what, but it was beautiful. If you go to the YouTube Alaska trip, you'll see a video of the zip lining, and Alaska was just amazing. I will do it all over again. And if you have a chance to save some money for you and your family, please do so, because the families there. And I know you're saying Alaska, Salty Coffee, really? Alaska? You want us to go to Alaska? And I'm only saying that because it was not cold. I went in June, and it was not that cold. And followed by the cruise in Alaska, I ended up in um, Seattle. Seattle is a beautiful emerald city. as they call it. There's a lot of walking, less driving, more walking. But everything where I stayed at, everything was right there and it was comfortable. I felt safe. Once you're from New York and the Bronx, it's like, I don't know, you just not like whatever. You just act and behave like a New Yorker, you're fine. So I really, really enjoyed Seattle. I would do, if you're going to do like the downtown area, Seattle, where they have that fresh fish market, landmark areas, just do 2 days. You can do everything in 2 days. Now, if you're not like me, where I try to do everything in one day, maybe about 5 days. And look who popped up, Miss Shelby. How are you?
I'm fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Good. Yeah, because I was having trouble with my phone. I was like, okay.
How are you? Thank you
Fine. What
for
about
stopping.
yourself?
Good. How was your year of 2022? You have great
Great.
news. I know. I know. Amazing. I'll let you tell us.
What's the name of my song?
No, I'll let you tell us what happened in 2022. Cuz you
2022. Oh
yeah,
my
the
God.
new
I signed a record label, L Town
ah,
Record.
absolutely.
Mm,
Congratulations.
yeah. I put out my first single, Put It On Me. And then
Mhm.
yesterday, well, midnight last night, I put out another single,
I
Riding Like a
know.
Rodeo. Yeah.
I
He,
mentioned it.
yeah.
Sing a little bit cuz I don't have the song yet.
Why you didn't tell me? I would have sent it to you. I have it.
Oh no, 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 you don't have to if you can't. That's fine.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you again so much for reaching out to Salty Coffee. Thank you for inviting me to your home. You're amazing. You're the best. And I'm really, really happy for you about your singles and that this company signed you in with them because they know that you're the best and you're still the diva of Southern Soul.
That's right.
Not, not only in Mississippi, but here, at least in the Bronx, because ain't no other divas around here.
Look, I was walking around just as busy as I could be. I was actually cleaning, for the new year. And
Hmm.
it dawned on me, something came up to my phone and said, Salty Coffee Live. I said, oh, God, I forgot my plate.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be here for the whole time. We just wanted to make sure that we congratulate you for 2022 and everything you've done to support the Salty Coffee podcast. I truly, truly appreciate everything you do every day. And I'm just really happy for you. I really am.
Now, you know I love me some salty coffee. You
I
already
know you want me to move down to
tried.
Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah. I went to
You
the
funny.
casino Friday.
Ooh,
Yeah, by
how was
myself.
it?
I had a good time. I
So
needed to have
you're
a drink.
learning for Salty Coffee. You're learning how to just get out and do things on your own. Look at you. I'm so
Yeah,
proud.
look, I was on my way from work and I just stopped. I said, I'm gonna go up in here and see, because it's like maybe about 10 minutes from my house.
I know.
And I enjoyed myself. My kids were looking for me to my mama, where you at? I said, I'm still at
Mm-mm.
work.
Non-business, none your business.
I told myself I'm
Yeah.
still at work.
I'm so happy for you. I like to hear that stuff. I like to hear when people are like, let me do a salty. Let me go out there and just go out by myself. I mean, I don't want to take all the credit for it, but that's what I like to hear. I like to hear when women are just out there, enjoying themselves and not, I don't know. It's just, isn't it a good feeling to
It
just
really
be out
is.
there?
It
Yeah,
really is.
good.
It really is. I
Yeah.
must say, I am enjoying the single life. You know, I come and go
Ooh,
as I please. I don't have nobody tell me anything, or, I'm just enjoying it. I started to get up a few minutes ago and go back to the casino. I still might.
okay. Well,
Yeah,
now, be careful.
yeah,
Just, just do
just
a little
one.
bit at a time, but just
Yeah,
have fun. Have
yeah.
fun.
That's the thing. And plus, they give me money to play with, so
Okay,
yeah,
good.
yeah, it's not like it's mine.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
All right. How's the family? How's mother? How's mom?
Everybody's doing great.
Okay,
I
good.
got a new granddaughter.
Okay.
Um,
Ooh,
3 weeks old.
wow.
Her name
I
is
think I've
Katie.
Yeah, I think I saw a picture that you
Yeah,
posted. Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
where
then I
can
get on
people
that. Hmm?
buy your music? Where can people purchase your songs?
It's everywhere. Spotify,
Okay.
um, Amazon, you name
Okay.
it. It's everywhere.
That last link that you sent is wonderful because you click on it and it has the options, and I like
Yeah.
that.
Right, right.
Okay, perfect. Okay, good.
Yeah,
I shared it,
good.
and um, man, I was telling people that it's important for them, like when they listen to your music, to just go ahead and click on the little star that they like it, create a playlist on just you as the artist. When you create playlists, that helps the artist, and every
Yes,
click counts. So
please,
yeah,
please do that.
click, click, click. Let's
Click,
go.
click, click, click,
So
click, click.
thank you so much, Miss Shelby, for stopping by. And we're gonna continue because at 8:45 I'm going to do my regular. This is just a review of 2022. I
Okay.
hope that 2023 will bring a lot more success and a lot more money
For me and you.
for me and you. So
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my song, but it's okay. I'm still waiting. I need a theme song for the Salty Coffee podcast.
Okay,
So
we're gonna work on that.
yeah, we got to work on that. But
Okay,
thank you
then.
again.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. You too. I love you.
I love you more.
I know. All right.
Love
Bye.
you.
So that was Michelle B, the beautiful diva of Southern Soul. And I'm very proud of her. And you can find her music if you just search Shelby, SHELLB, the letter B, and you'll find her on Spotify. Just to verify who she is, you'll see the little verification. So if you don't see the little verification on the side on Spotify, then that is not her. That is just someone who just posted her picture with her music. So when you see her photo on Spotify with the little blue check mark, that is her and that's her music, and that's where you want to go to support and either to purchase the song or to, if you already have a subscription with Spotify, every time you click they get paid. And I think that's very important to know, because that's how you can support people now, artists. So Alaska was in June. Between Alaska, we had Juneteenth, Father's Day. I did a tribute to all the fathers, and that was an amazing talk. Around September, I talked a lot about schools, universities. I started and I was introduced to a new app called Wisdom. Please feel free to stop in there. There's a lot of people who are mentors, who are verified mentors, who provide information. But even if you are someone who has a talent or information, you can go there and get paid as well. I think Wisdom is an amazing place if you want like a little bit of intimacy. It's a large group, but it seems like there's more mentors than listeners. So let's bring in the listeners. So if you or family member would like to talk about something that you make, something that you do in the household, and hey, you never know, you get paid through points, and it's something to create. You don't know where it can take you, and I think everyone should be informed and educated, and that's one of the things that I like to do on Salty Coffee. Then in October, this is what I was going to show you. I did a 5K run with the district attorney from the Bronx, and it was to do a domestic violence awareness. That was a very emotional run for me. This year, I went with my coworker, and she's already ready to go as a group for next year. And I think if you are listening, please try to go to any event that's related to domestic violence awareness in your state, in your county, or in your borough, because you're going to learn a lot about laws, about dating or what's available to you as a resource or friend or family member. And I think that's
Think about me one more time before you go. Someday you'll know. Someday you'll know. You know what I'm going to say? I've been feeling this way for far too long. And now you're gone. Took me away from all of my fears. Kept me away from all of my tears.
And that is if you or someone you know is experiencing some form of violence in your home, whether that be physical or mental or just emotional, please feel free to call 1-800-799-7233. And I also did an interview, a reintroduction with Maria Hernandez.
Yo solamente pienso en ti. Yo solamente pienso en ti. Yo solamente pienso en ti.
Sorry. So that was Maria Hernandez, the author of Trapped and the screenwriter of Trapped. And then she also wrote Trapped 2. She is amazing. She could not continue with the Trap because she had a family engagement where she had to take care of her brother. And in that episode, that's what she talks about. Her brother is an adult and has autism. And she talks about the struggle that she had to go through for the paperwork just to get him, to be independent now. So feel free to visit the YouTube, Salty Coffee YouTube page. And if you're there now, you can find the live with Maria. And last and not least, I also interviewed my former dance instructor from the Ballet Folclórico. She is from the Ballet Folclórico de Xiomara Cabrera, and she is amazing. She, I'm sorry, I can't show that picture there, but she came in and she spoke about the history of her coming into this country as a young girl from the Dominican Republic. And she told us the amazing stories of Normaldia Maldonado, which was the founder of the Ballet Quisqueya. And I was a dancer there from 1980 to 1986. Yeah, that was with Xiomara Cabrera, and I think her. I think it is so amazing to have had her in my Salty Coffee podcast because she sent me videos of when she first came to this country and the videos that she did in Dominican Republic, and also some videos that she did in Florida when she moved to Florida temporarily for a little bit. And the videos are like from the 80s. So you can only imagine. And we shared photos. So feel free. She also gives classes online for as little as $5 per class. She needs help in funding the program. Her oldest student is 85 and her youngest is 3. So I think it's very important. She does online classes and she does in person as well. The online is on Wednesdays through Zoom, but you do have to register with her to make sure because if there's kids involved, and through Messenger, she does some, and then in person here in Washington Heights, where the old school where I used to attend is around there. But it's called Ballet Folclórico Xiomara Cabrera. And if you go to the video on YouTube, you'll find more information about it. So I just want to introduce to you someone very important to me and special to me. Um, we met through Stereo app, and his name is Ronald Smith, and he is also known as the Icon. Icon um, came. We met. We communicated and contacted, and it was just a quick connection in all sense of the word. But one of the things that really I connected to Ronald is his eagerness to learn and his eagerness to intake information, take it and execute what he wants to do with his passion. His passion is amazing. It's a beautiful thing, and his story is quite frankly like no other. I'm gonna bring you up Ronald Smith.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay.
I wonder if
Salutations.
everybody else can hear you. Hold on, because I don't see. Do you see your thing vibrating when you talk?
Uh, Actually, I don't.
Okay, hold on. Well, you're not on mute, but I can hear you. So I'm hoping that everybody else out there can hear you. Um, Icon,
Yes.
if you may. Um, how did we meet?
Uh, Actually, we actually crossed each other paths back in 2020. I was new to the app. I think around the time the app was still relatively new. And I came across one of your shows where you was talking about finances, where you was speaking about the two gentlemen that you always talk about, and some of the things that they prepared you prepared you for, mentors you, and some other things on how to invest. And at that time, I was really in a space where that was my interest also on knowing how to get into that field of investing and things. So that's where I met you at. And once I got into the to your room and started listening to you, I started to follow you from there. And wherever I
Okay.
saw you, I began to support what you was doing because I was learning some things in addition to things that I had learned previous to our meeting each other.
Yeah, and then we just went straight at it. I don't think we had a lot of talks, but we would bump into each other in rooms, and
Hmm.
you would call me out, and I'm like, don't do that.
Well, I enjoy supporting people.
No, I know. I know.
Hmm.
I'm just messing with you. But
Yeah,
we started with the Spanish class, basic Spanish with Icon and Salty Coffee, and I think that was amazing. And I hope people understand that that was a learning curve and a practice also for both of us to see where we, really wanted to take our podcasting as a duo type of thing, if you will, where we were going to take it from there. And for the purposes of teaching people how to speak another language, I think we did a phenomenal, especially you did a phenomenal job in really grasping what you were learning, even though I think you read it better than having a conversation.
absolutely.
um, I think that's amazing, that you were able to hold it in and constantly, help me understand how, because you have the ability to entertain people and really have and capture people to listen. And I think that's what makes us both work well together, because I think on my end, I hate to say it this way, but on my end, the administrative work, and I'm more structured and more organized, and everything has to be a certain way. And speaking of which, and I don't really want to get too into this, but this morning I found out that Barbara Walters passed, and they were talking about how she was the same way. Like, she was very structured, she was on time, she studied her um, people who she would interview, she will study them to the T. Like, she literally knew more about the person than the person knew about themselves, which is kind of ironic and stuff. And I try to do that also when I interview people. And that's why, when, I guess I can say this, but when you said, well, when are you going to interview me? And I was like, oh no. and,
Yeah,
and the only reason I said no is because I do truly want to do the best, because you have a lot of years of an experience that no one else can tell your story. And I will really want you to tell your story and no one else. So we're going to get to your interview, trust me. But just like a Barbara Walters, I want to do my due
come on.
diligence
Thank you.
to
Thank you.
making sure that when I do it, people are going to be, even including you, you're going to be like, how did you know about that about me? But yeah, so I want to do it the right way, and I want to make you proud, you know, that you can use that interview as a legacy also, within history, because we're creating a vault. And we're going to get into this tonight, but outside the box, when do you think that started, that conversation with us?
Well, outside the box, as far as I'm concerned, due to the fact that I do a lot of speaking about the social constructs and negative and positive programming, and how we view this world, and not trying to look at it through the lens of what was forced upon us or taught to us in the way the construct gives us our viewpoints and our value systems. I think that's how it came about. Just not using the same pattern of thought patterns that was given to us, but actually questioning it and saying,
Mm.
why is it like this and why is it like that, and who's benefiting and who's not benefiting. And you have to really get outside the box to be able to see these things. So I think that's how it came about, just through some personal conversations about what we've experienced in life. I think that's what it
Yeah, because
happened.
I think one of the things that I mentioned to you earlier before outside the box came to an existence was that, I it just popped in my head to say, Icon, you don't understand. I've been in
Mm,
prison for 32 years.
mm.
And it's sad. It's sad that we connect more with that based on the social construct than anything else, than traveling. Because even though you were in prison and you couldn't physically go out and travel, you traveled in books, like you say.
Absolutely.
You traveled
Absolutely.
in conversations with other people from all over the world. And so in the place that I work at, yeah, even though I did go travel outside, I was still, doing the basic tourist thing, which a lot of people tell, they don't think that's fun to do tourist thing, but it's something different from someone who's from the Bronx and grew up in New York. So I think travel is very important. Um, it teaches you a lot about other worlds, and if you pay attention to what's not being told to you when you do go to these tourist places, that's when you really learn that you don't really come from a country that's full of wealth.
You know what I think it is, Salty?
What?
And briefly, I'll say this briefly. I think that the commonality is the activism and advocating on the principles of truth, and being a voice for the voiceless, and trying to take the God-given gifts and talent and use them in a way that you can be a part of the solution instead of a part of the problem. And I think that's what kind of connect us from the two different worlds that we come from.
Yeah,
Um, and I think that was the beauty in the whole connect thing, being able to communicate it.
I agree. So it's almost going to be 9 o'clock. How did you want to do moving forward through stereo? Did you want to go into your laptop on here and then, because we know how the noise can be, or do you want to hang up here and continue doing it through stereo?
Well, actually, I'm going to leave here. I just want to say
Okay.
greetings to everybody that's in the room in this live streaming, wherever you are. It's a pleasure to meet y'all. Look forward to speaking with y'all more in the future. I pray for safety in all that you do, and happy New Year's to everybody if you observe it in that way. But continued success and safety for you and your family. Peace. I am the icon, and I'm going to get up out of here, Salty. And I'll see you over on stereo.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Peace, everybody.
Bye. That was the icon. And so this is what happened. We were going to do the end of the year, well, not the end of the year, but the 2022 review for an hour, but we're going to transition into the outside the box with Icon and Salty Coffee. How's everyone doing? I see Lulu and I see two other people, but I'm not sure if you're on our website or if you are watching through, it says Twitch, and of course, two on YouTube. Thank you so much and welcome. If you're new, my name is Wanda, and I'm the host of Salty Coffee. If you're returning, thank you for supporting the Salty Coffee podcast. You can find more information on www.saltycoffeepodcast.com. Please do not leave because we are going to start a talk on stereo. So outside the box, it's a it's very sometimes depressing, if you will. But the conversations that we have there are real conversations, and we're going to talk tonight about how outside the box. Why that title of outside the box. And I also forgot to mention that this year, moving forward in 2029, we're going to go metaverse. We're going to have our first metaverse Uh, we're gonna have our first metaverse uh, podcast. So let me show you a little. I think it's this one.
Remember the day we first met and the love we found. Remember the day we first met and the love we found. Dancing in the darkness. Remember the day we first met and the love we found.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing that in 2023. Hopefully, in 25. I'm sorry, we're having issues and technical difficulties again on stereo. I don't know what's going on over there with Ronald, but it's kind of a little annoying to say the least. So let me see if I can get him back in. Okay. I don't know what's going on. I apologize, Ron.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings. Salty coffee.
I'm here.
Uh,
Can you hear me?
it seems like, yeah, I can hear you. I hear you fine.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, and everyone else can
Okay.
hear you on the live.
Okay. Always about to start off with a hiccup over here with technical difficulty.
We'll get
Like,
it. We'll get
wait
it
a
right
minute.
eventually, right? So I
Well,
started. I started doing it
yeah.
through the iPad now, so there should be no problems on my end.
I know it told me. It told me when I first came in that I could not call this user. Like, I can't call this user. What do you mean? We have a whole show scheduled tonight. Come on, Stereo. Y'all need to come on, get it together. And do it quickly.
Yeah, do
But
it very
yeah, we
quickly.
here nonetheless. Hey,
It is January 1st, 2023, and it is 9:02 p.m. Eastern Time. My name is Wanda, and I am the host of Salty Coffee Podcast. And thank you so much for joining, Mr. Nuggets. How are you? And Icon.
salute. Absolutely. The Icon 6. I am here, and I am also a host, graciously given a job. I got a job, y'all. Boss lady gave me some work. Can you believe it?
I always give you the work, but you know, you have a way of working flawlessly. Like I have to do the hard work, which is, you know, the appointment time, the promoting, the which is okay. That's what I like to do, and you like to do most of the talking, which is fine, because I always interrupt you anyway, and I do my talking too. But today's outside the box, we're really gonna talk about why that title outside the box. And for those of you who come in and come out, but don't stay to listen, and for those of you who are listening carefully, thank you so much for joining us every Sunday here on stereo and on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you. Because I think it's very important for all of us to know that, you know, we should spread out. And I'm hearing this message a lot on stereo. I've never been a stereo person. I've always been on YouTube, specifically Anchor is where I started. And my whole thing was that I wanted to be a podcaster. And I saw stereo as just a place to come in and get to know people and listen to other topics and listen to other people. But I can't discover something about Salty Coffee that was very different from other hosts. And I appreciate him for motivating and inspiring me to move on and keep it going consistently the way that I've been doing the Salty Coffee podcast with interviewing women and having them tell their story the best way that I can. And the best way that I can is by really sharing their story and putting it together to for the people who are deaf or hard of hearing, and for those of that are visually impaired or blind. And I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people ask me, well, what is it exactly, Salty Coffee, that you do? And it's just so many things. But Icon does a great job in articulating what it is that I do. And I appreciate that. I really do. A lot. And it means a lot to
But
me.
you're most certainly welcome. And um, I think that a lot of the times when you okay, I'm a raw talent, um, gifted, in the way that I've been gifted innately to do the things that I do. But I'm also a student because I know that by me having the raw talent, I'm rough around the edges a lot of the times, but I love doing what I do because I always done it. Maybe not from the position of positivity, but when it comes back down to structure, the way that you structure yourself, I have a different approach to things when it comes to certain types of structure. Because it's like I think pretty good when I'm in the midst of chaos. Because when there's chaos around me, that's when my sensors go to ticking, and I go to putting stuff in place in real time. And I'm real thankful to be able to do that, and also have the presence of mind to know that this is what we do is serious. We have our fun time, we have our comic relief time, but 90% of what we do is so serious, like it's not even entertainment. You know what I mean? Like we go seek entertainment or we entertain each other, but I take it very, very serious, the work that we do from a position of activism and the advocacy that we give to men and women. And I want to just say this here so that there would never be a time where people misconstrue and think that you just all about women. Because sometimes when people hear that, and it's like, do she have any room for men? Do she have anything nice to say about men? Why is this still women? And it's no. Whatever the thing, what I've learned from you in the work that you do, when you open up those doors to tell the stories of these women or allow them to come into the spaces to share their stories, it gives us as men an opportunity to look in or peer into the world of these women, um, that we can be informed to be educated about things that we don't know because we're not women, of course. It definitely is a learning curve, but it's a continuation and an add-on to things that I already know. And that's what I want to say to the people. We can work together, regardless if there are disagreements. But the main thing is, can you find that silver line that run between us all that can connect us to the truth in a way that we can do this work together from the different platforms that we do it from and actually help the people while we're trying to continue to elevate and grow ourselves. So good job, Salty Coffee. I love the way you structure things. I love the professionalism uh, that you move with when you do work. It's nice. I mean, the work is impeccable. I get a lot of people that really congratulate, you know, what you've done, even with the website and setting that up, and a lot of different things that you've done, the videos, the flyers, and things of that nature. So I know it is a lot because I'm learning a lot. I mean, if I had to do what you do right now, I don't know. I'd probably be right back doing my little thing because, I'm learning as I go. I didn't transition with technology, so but I did start my own podcast on my own, and I did jump on Facebook. And I want to shout out my sisters, Tina and Chandra, for pushing that phone in my hand as soon as I stepped out them prison gates, and began my education in the technology out here. So kudos to you, Salty.
Thank you. And I also wanted to mention that if for those who are on stereo, if you click on the link there, that's Icon's new website. And you can also see what's happening on real time. You can see what's happening on YouTube, Facebook, because I want people to also view what we talk about because I put the most dramatic stuff up on the website. But for those of you who were here an hour earlier, thank you so much for watching our review for 2022. And 2023, we're going to be jumping more into what I want to call the metaverse. So we're going to give it a shot. We're going to go in there and have a little lounge, and people can come in and talk on the metaverse, virtual, whatever it's called, world. And I'm excited about that. But one of the things,
reality.
I know, right? One of the things
Right.
that's interesting, we were talking about what we're going to talk about today, and we were like, let's just open it up, let's just have it a free and open. And one of the things that I said that I really wanted to talk about is the title Outside the Box. And we were listening to music. We were on Station Head today, and for those of you who have Station Head, please go into Icons today's talk and music, because we dissected every song on there. Well, not every all of them, but at least the first 20, right? We went in to each, and we dissected it to the point where we were talking about the positive construct versus the negative. What did you hear in this song? And what I heard, and it was amazing. It was amazing talk. Thank you so much for having that today, because I really needed something to like get me through the day at work. And
That was an out of body experience, Salty. Like there was a spiritualness about that today that took over me. So anybody that go to get that replay on Station Head, you're gonna be in for a treat. I mean, a real treat of information and good music, and like Salty said, the breakdown of it on every level that you can break it down to where a child can understand it. And I think you're gonna really gain some insight to add on to what you already know, or if you don't know, some things that will put you in the know. So yeah. That was a heck of a show today.
I loved it.
It was.
I really did. And unfortunately, there was times where I couldn't be there to listen to you wholeheartedly on what you were saying most on one of those important moments. But I loved it. That show was very unique, very authentic, and it just flowed. We didn't schedule it. It was not, and I was having such a great time dissecting those words. And we had, who did we have? Neo, we had Kem, we had
Tim,
Kem, we had Sade, but before that, Erica Badu. Ooh.
Erica Badu.
And before her,
Tracy Chapman.
and Tracy Chapman. So it all started with Icon asking Wanda or Salty, whatever. He normally calls me Salty. But what song should we start this? What should be the founding song? And I said, Fast Car. I love that song, Fast Car. Man, and when we dissected that song, it had nothing to do with a car, it had nothing to do with anything fast. And it happened to do with everything we talk about here on Outside the Box. Ta-da! So we're learning together, and hopefully those of you who don't have Station Head, we're going to try to replicate, if at all possible, at least take the words out of there and put it on some form of re-recording it into just the talk, because I think the talk to me was way more important than the music within itself, because we really connected your perspective on the song versus my perspective.
I don't know, Salty. Now this might be one of the first times I'm gonna have to disagree with you. To actually hear the songs themselves.
I know.
When a person initially listen to it and then get a breakdown from different angles or different contexts, it does something a little bit more. Because I can't wait to critique a few of Miss Shelby's songs. Because I like her music. I'm from Florida, so that whole southern feel. I'm definitely with that. And salute to Miss Shelby. I didn't get a chance to really speak to her earlier, but I follow her 100%, and I love what she's doing over there. So salute to her.
So I don't know how we got into it earlier today, but someone asked, or did we ask, how did we get outside the box? And you explained it your way, right? How did we really get into it about describing what outside the box is?
I think you may have said something, and I went to try to. I think I asked, like, what did you really mean? Because I know we talked about it before,
Right.
and then
You
you went
changed
into
it.
the
Yeah.
whole spiel about, you know,
So
what it is
yeah.
we finna talk about
So
right
let's
now.
talk
As a matter
about
of
it.
fact.
So if you're on YouTube or if you're on Icon's page or my page, you're gonna see some photos of, just so that you can get the visual of what, when we say we're gonna talk outside the box, what I'm talking about. And this is the reason why I chose this title for our talks specifically. So initially, right, you you don't know this before you're born, but your parents fall in love because their parents fell in love, and you know that that's how relationships work. And you you get married, you date someone, you court them, and you get married. When you get married, you get a marriage license. Bam. The state that you're in, and we're talking about the United States. I don't know about any other country, how it works, how that functions, but let's just stay here in the United States. So, here in the United States, when you marry, it's an agreement, and the state now knows that Icon and Salty Coffee are living together. They share everything, every single thing. So, in most cases, if you have a lot of money and or you're very broke, it's advisable, right, to do a prenup or anything like that. The bottom line is that no matter what, we've been told that there's two weddings, right? The one you do in church, maybe perhaps or not, and the one you do in the courthouse. That's all we know, right? And that's because that's what we've been taught, that's what women have been told, and we're sticking by it. So when you get married, sometimes you should already be ready to do what? Buy a house, right? Or move in together, or share a space. And you sign a deed. The deed has both the two persons' names of the married couple. Clearly, not everyone, because it's 2022, but back at least in the 80s and 70s when I was born, when you buy a house, of course, when are the babies coming? Because the grandmother's already harassing you. Where are the grandchildren? And why did you get married if it wasn't to have a family and a home? Because that's the whole idea, right? So when you look at the first session, right, whether it's a house or an apartment, you're in a box. You're not living out in the woods, and your husband is out there going killing animals to feed you. That's not the world we live in. We're living in a squared space, if you will, to protect from the weather, to protect from any dangers from outside. Okay, the house. What comes after the house? The baby. So, in some cases, the baby is the one that's going to start the family household, the family unit. And in some cases in the United States, we've been told that you have to go to the hospital, right? Because as a woman who's pregnant, you're already going to the gynecologist. You're going with your husband. He's taking you, he's learning everything he needs to learn about what it is to raise a baby. And it's so complicated yet so simple, right? But the baby, look where they put the baby, in a box. You see a little cute little box? He can't roll out. He can't do anything. He's just right there. And guess what? As you always say, Icon, what is the birth certificate called?
That's an account. Um, that's where your straw man is put together. You become a ward of the state.
Ward of the state. So the birth certificate is sort of like a stamp that here is this couple who bought or live in this place and location who now has a baby. And the baby is now part of the corporation, what we call the United States. Now, you're still young couple, you don't even know what's happening, and now you're like, oh, we got to get the best school for our child because our child is smart and he's going to be the best kid in the block. Yeah, so what do we do first? We've been told that if we take them to daycare, they can socialize with other kids, they can learn how to, do colors. I mean, things really that they can learn at home. But the social skills is what's important when you're sending your child to daycare. So you enroll your child. In most cases, enrolling your child into one of the best schools can be very. Oh, you're good?
Yeah,
The heck?
my that's this crazy phone over here. My other phone over here.
Turn it off.
Try to put it on the cotton picking stream thing in the volume. Please forgive me for that.
Okay. Don't make me mute you. So
Please don't.
okay, I won't. So on the daycare center, right, where you're bringing your toddler, because now both parents, of course, in 2022, both parents have to work in order to maintain that house, to pay the deed and to go to and from work. You're enrolling your child in a daycare center. That's the initiation of what's to happen for the rest of this child's life. So, what do you have in daycare? You have cubby holes, you have a little square table with a couple of chairs where, some of them are colorful because kids need to learn their colors and, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it's another building, like you call it, that it holds the space for the shared space between the children and the administrators. Because, of course, one of this couple that eventually married may be a teacher. No, no. So they go to grammar school and they give them what? A cubicle, or what we call, when those desks that have the little entryway to put the books and stuff. I mean, I think we used to call them a cubicle as well. But yeah, so now your child is in third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade grammar school. And this is the time where this system currently takes grades to look for those grades to identify what's going to happen. Like psychologists, people who write books, they really take that time right there and then to tell the government, because you signed this little certificate thing of where this child is at in reading, in math, and if he is what they want to call gifted. I don't know what that means, but gifted, he needs to be sent, to another place. But if he has special needs or special requirements, he needs to go. This is the age in grammar school where they start assessing your child, assessing your child of where they're going to go and where they're going to be moving forward, right there in grammar school. In some cases, they learn and assess the issues prior to that, but usually it's around this time, because if they're disruptive, and a lot of times kids can be disrupted, but it has nothing to do with them not knowing anything. It's just that you have this cookie cutter learning curriculum that you're teaching one thing to so many different children that may not grasp it right away, right? So they made it through grammar school. They're middle school, then in high school. Right here is when they start telling them from freshman year, if you're in high school, this is what you're going to need to go to college. In order for you to get the job that you want, you're going to have to go to college. If you don't go to college, you're going to end up working at McDonald's, or you're going to, I don't know, you're going to be doing something that you may not want to do. So get your act together, or you're going to end up doing something that you don't want to do. And this is where it gets tricky, because if you're a parent and you're not aware of what's happening, your child can end up in a very dangerous situation, or they can end up in what we consider the norm, which is to go to college, right? There are even different levels with the college. You got the community college, you got the city college, you got the state universities, and then you have the private institutions. For those kids who had the parents who plan to have children and may have already started a legacy of their own, because their parents helped them and they didn't have to do much with what they got, it just goes down the line of family. um your kid is already set and you're good, and that's what you do want, right? As a positive um programming when it comes to that. But they look at these kids and they assess them in high school, and this is where, you know you either become a parent at 16, 17, 18, 19, so now you're head of household, or you make a big mistake and you get incarcerated, or you end up not hanging out with your friends and doing what you're not supposed to be doing, and you just go to college. So all of this, the government already knows, because every year they take an assessment of these grades. They take an assessment, and they're supposed to be taking the assessments to make it better. But what have you experienced since you've been alive? Is it really making it better? Hello?
That's a question for me.
Yeah, for you.
Oh, please forgive me. I'm so caught up into what you're saying and you're moving.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, the control mechanism from start to finish, uh, in my opinion, there are times when there are flashes of accomplishment or senses of accomplishment if you can connect with the positive programming aspect of what's going on. But for the most part, when you look at the collective of humanity or human beings within this corporate structure called America, it's not looking good for a lot of people. I mean, when they begin to do the classism, these statuses and these different titles, that's why they're there. You have poor, you have quote unquote middle class, and you have the rich. And it's that way for a reason, because they already assigning to us what crack we're gonna fall to. I mean, are you gonna be elevated? That depends on whom you're born to. Was you born into a legacy where you was left an inheritance and control of the constructs, or were you born to those who were subjects to those who hold the control of the constructs? So there are more people in this country that can be classified as the have-nots, and there's a very small portion of the people here who are definitely classed as those that have an abundancy. So no, I don't think that it's really helping the masses of the people. We just been put to sleep that we don't really recognize a lot of the times what's really happening.
Right.
But we feel it. We do feel it at times.
So going back to the characteristics of what our title is moving forward: marriage, box; house, box; baby is born, put in a box; cubicles, box; seating arrangement in high school, grammar school, boxed. And once you move forward into a high school setting, look at the hallways. And for those of you who just walked in on stereo, if you click on the link for the icon, you can see the visuals under the streaming live section of the website. Look at the hallways for the high school with the lockers, and look at the hallways for the jail cells. Don't they look familiar? Lighting, everything. I mean, it's a little bit more different because these are the photos that I got. But when you are in prison, what did they give you? They give you a serial number there as well. What did they give you in high school? Well, when you were born, they gave you that birth certificate where they give you the social security number, right? So now that social security number is very important because that's going to take you throughout. So
Absolutely.
for those kids that made it through high school successfully, they get to apply to go to college. And guess what? When the kid went to daycare, that was the initiation of the application to a schooling, academic, whether that be private or public, right? They didn't have to do much. As long as they had that social security number, they didn't have to do much in grammar school, middle school, or high school. But why do you think it is that they require it again when you go to college? They require a full application. They require a full financial aid packet. You know why? Because by the time they did the assessment in grammar school, they already knew the amount of money that they were going to have for prisons versus the amount of money that they were going to have for scholarships and grants, federal grants and assistance for these poor people. Because when people do get married, buy a house, and have a kid who are prepared, they're putting them to the side because they already know what they're doing. They got that set. But for those who never did that, who never did know that they were able to invest, that they were able to get scholarships, that they were able to get a legacy entry into their children's, like let's say you went to a college, you need to, and you graduated, you need to find out what the legacy um, policies are for that. So they go to high school, a percentage goes to prison, a percentage goes to college. And look at the dorms furniture, right? With the college application. Look what a dorm looks like and look what the jail cell looks like. So hopefully those who are on stereo, you can see it. But it's the same setting. Bunk beds, desk, chair, whatever. For those who didn't make it to prison, because you've been in a box this whole time. A dorm room is a box, a jail cell is a box. The cubicle for you to go through all of this schooling, you got your work permit when you're 15 because you want to get money to buy whatever you want, because that's the whole goal for you to have a children, and you get married, to buy a house, to get a job, to have children. You have children for them to go to school, to get good grades, so that they can have a good job and go to college. So now you're working on a goddamn cubicle. This has changed a lot in 2023. I'm sorry, in 2022, but it there was a transition there through COVID where now it's hybrid. You're working from home. But look how dangerous that is, working from home, because you're still in a box. Many people have the ability to travel and be at the beach, but that's not too many of us, right? It's usually the CEO or the vice president that has the ability to do that in a company, not necessarily um, someone like you and me. Hey, TT, how are you? I didn't even see you.
Sis. Happy New Year.
So here you are in a cubicle at work with a whole bunch of other people. And even if you didn't get an office job, let's say you got a mechanical job, you're going to your locker room or the tool supply closet, or everything is boxed in. And the last two things is very sad because, throughout these years, right? As parents, we focus so much to take our children to school. So we work two jobs to make sure that they have what they need and sometimes what they want, mostly what they need, right? And um, you work so hard and they go to college, right? To get their degree, to get a good job. All of what you work so hard for may go away in one semester. Everything you told them about your culture, everything you told them about the food, gone. Your kid comes back the first semester, I'm vegan. I'm not eating a chicken wing ever again. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And that's just one semester. That's how boxed in they have us.
Happy New Year's! Icon, my big brother, and my big sister Salty. Happy New Year's. Love y'all. I was trying to follow along on this, but I don't know where to go to follow along.
I'm going to summarize it in a bit. Welcome, welcome, Miss TT. How are you? And Happy New Year's to you too. So Lulu says, "Yep, a box," and she's probably talking about the dormitory rooms. Um, it's in a box for sure, for sure. But yeah, so you go to school, you get good grades, you get good grades to go to college, you go to college to get a good job, right? And once you worked your ass off, right, for years and years, and in my case 30 plus years, you retire. By then you're too old to probably take care of yourself. Your family is too focused on completing the circle box that they started to begin with, right? Because now your kids are doing what you did, right? Which was to get married, to buy a house, to have a kid, to send your kid to school, and the cycle continues. So now they send you to a nursing home. And guess what that looks like? A box. It's another box. And then from there, unfortunately, you pass and you move on, and your body is put in a box. Not And I'm not saying everybody does this, but that's what outside the box is about. When you come to our talks, we're going to talk about outside of these segments of life that we've been indoctrinated in, and that we are in a social construct that only tells us that we have to get married if we want to have a good life, that we have to buy a house if we want to fulfill our need for passing on a legacy, that we have to send our child or baby to a hospital because you're that's the only place that you're going to get a birth certificate, and your kid is legit, that you have to put them in daycare because the daycare system is going to teach them how to be social with other kids who are going to be doing the same thing, where you take them to grammar school and they learn and they start dissecting them and assessing them and putting them in separate spaces, and sometimes erroneously. Like, some of these things have been assessed in the wrong way, where now they're in high school, they have mental health issues, they have very little programs that promote creativity. And when I read that, or when I didn't read it, but when I did the audio for the Lynch Pin book that Miss Lady Bomber suggested for us to read, I'm telling you right now, these jobs that they have for our kids that are going to college are not linchpin jobs. So you want to create a child that's creative. You want to be indispensable. You want to create your job should be moving forward that you are creating something that no one can duplicate. Sometimes, in order to do that successfully, we need to remove ourselves from social media, from the regular routine of the social construct, whether that be online, at work. Take a sabbatical. If you're unable to take a sabbatical, think about why that is. How is it that there's a lot of people out there that are able to do it and you can't? What is that all about? Some people don't even know what a sabbatical is, but okay.
Would you say the parents work two jobs? Yes, they do. You know, I work one job, but they offer all the overtime you want. So I'm there from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, damn near. It's tiring and it's like an endless cycle, and we just teach our children to do the same thing.
Mhm.
I want to get out of it, but still be making a whole lot of money.
That's this is what we do. And what my little sister just said, TT, and thank you for that. The energy that's snatched out of us uh, when we're put into these cycles through these constructs that actually robs us of life. And I'm going to get into that, but I want Salty to continue to finish where she's headed because she's doing a beautiful job in breaking this down and why we do what we do and how the name came to be. Go ahead, Salty.
Yeah, so
I gotta touch that.
yeah, so outside the box for me, when I asked you, Icon, based on the conversations that we have and have had and will like to continue to share with others, because initially you had said truth, lies, and the power, right? And I said, okay, that would be the mission of our talks, but what are we going to call it? And I asked you, it just came out of my head, outside the box. Like, we really need to teach people how to think outside of this social construct where we are still living in it, right? But we need to find the positive ones that will fulfill our needs far more than our wants. And as TT said, you know, yeah, we got to work that overtime, but I got to make that money. Do you really have to make that money? I mean, Icon says it all the time, and I get like it hurts me because how do we level our needs versus our wants, especially when we have a child to take care of, right? It's called sacrifice. But to what extent are you now sacrificing time and energy that you could spend it with your child, right? To fulfill the goals of someone else who's with their child all the time. And some of them may have a nanny. I don't know. I don't judge. But that's what we are trying to elaborate on outside the box so that we can find ways of helping our people to remove ourselves from that way of thinking of what I just elaborated, from the time you're married to the time you have your children to the time you go to your coffin to die. um, you can go back and look at it and see if you understand it then, because you came in the middle of it. But that's what outside the box purpose is when we talk. And I think we have to, in 2023, be a little bit more serious about it, because what people need to be aware of is what you're not being told. Now that I said it, third grade assessments, fourth grade assessments, how the government or whoever, the PhD people and our own people, our own children of these people, right? The elites who go to school to learn. Well, damn, how are they still alive? How are they still making it? God damn it. They're working the overtime? Well, if they can work the overtime, we can get rid of all these other people. Let TT do all the OT. She down with it because she needs that money. And I need it too. So that's how they get you. That is how they get you. So if you take some time to really find the resources within where you're at to take and invest from the beginning, um, you know, I don't know your situation and I'm not trying to get into it, but these are the conversations that we're having so to make sure that our children don't have to go through that either. And a lot of our kids are out there, they're getting it. They get it. They're angry about it. Because they're some of them are blaming us for the stupidity things that we just weren't paying attention to. Because this is what we were told was the right thing to do.
Salty, so you ask, do we really need to make that money? Yeah, we do,
Yeah.
because we still got living. Your rent has went up at least $200 or $300. Um, yeah, like rent, your mortgage, your eating, your clothes on their back, their college tuition. Um, Shoot, and my daughter, she's 16. She's expensive. Shoot, her hair costs $250 every time I get it done. So, yeah, I mean, I absolutely have to. And I'm not with her dad anymore, so it's just me doing all of this. I mean, no, don't say, I can't say that he don't help. He helps, absolutely, but I'm the custodial parent, so it's mostly my responsibility.
I'm going to say this. Uh, I'll give you a chance to say what you need to say in response. Um, Salty, and salute to everybody that just came into the room. To Michelle, salute to you, and thank you for joining. TT, of course, and those who will come to the room. It's some powerful things that's being said, and the trade off is going to be beautiful once we get into it. Because I'm about to go there.
I'm gonna ask you this, TT, and I'm not trying to be I'm trying my best not to be make it sound like malicious or anything, but I'm gonna ask you this because this is what I had to do at 19 when my mom passed away. Let's say you pass away tomorrow. Is your child ready to end up in this world that we live in today? Because this is something that I had to learn at a very young age at 19, that my hair, it's not important. The clothes I wear is not important. The as long as you're clean and you're decent, that's what's important. If you took the time to sit down and work together, we had a talk about group operation and what was it? I'm sorry, Icon. What was it? It was
group operation and group cooperation.
Group operation and group cooperation, where we did the Claudine film and we dissected it. We gave great feedback on how to tell our children what's really important in this world. Icon says it all the time. We are supposed to get food for free. We're supposed to get water. Anything that's based on the earth is supposed to be free. So it's not. It's not, because people that are very greedy created this social construct where we now have to pay for water and air through our taxes. So it hurts me when I hear someone say, I have to work multiple overtime to pay for my daughter's hair. That hurts me so much. Because is it really important? I had to learn how to do my own hair at 10 because I didn't know I was poor, but I had to learn how to do it. And I trust you, trust me when I tell you, if you tell your daughter tomorrow you lost your job, what is she gonna do about her hair? What can she create at this point at 16 that she can pay for her own hair? What can you both create together as mother and daughter, understanding how the system works? When my kids were 5 and 7, when they were old enough, and I can just give you examples of what I did, right? It was a time where I had to explain to them, no, there is no Christmas gifts. No, there is nothing like that. That's just not how we live. So you have to prioritize how you're going to move forward with what's happening. We have to take this serious. Did COVID not teach us anything? Did For us 9/11 taught us a lot, that you can lose anything any day. Is working the overtime and busting your ass and killing yourself more important than having you there for her? The most devastating thing for me was losing my mom at 19. And that's how I started this podcast, telling that story, because it was not easy. I was homeless. I was familyless. I had no family. So hopefully, yes, her father can be there. Hopefully, yes, you do have a great big family. And if you do, why aren't you together helping each other to fulfill those needs where you don't have to work all this overtime? Get together with the community and fight about the rental increase and tell them. Because if you go over there and tell them, hey, I need this money and you need to stop raising my rent because I need to get my daughter's hair done, they're going to look at you like you're crazy. They really are. Because that's just not in the grants. The education, fine, that's important, because we do want them to go to higher education, because we don't want them to do what we did or end up in jobs that really they're not going to be there. By the time she goes to college, if she's thinking of being whatever it is that she's thinking of being, by the time she goes to college, the world is going into a global economy, and the world is happening so fast, so furious, that by the time she goes to college and finishes, that position that she went to college to learn and spent $400,000, whatever it is going to be at that time, because it is going to continue to go up, with no scholarships, with no financial aid. And we need to be cognizant about what's happening. Why is the government giving people from other countries, recruiting people from other countries to come into private schools when they could have easily just done that with our kids? They're not doing that. So it hurts me a lot when people say, I just had to, I have to buy my daughter clothes. I have to. You really don't. And we need to start teaching our kids what to consider valuable, which is ourselves, our hearts, how we treat others, our manners, than what we wear or the car we drive. I'm done. I'm sorry. I didn't mean I hope I wasn't being mean, but I'm just explaining it because it was not easy for me at 19 to have no one at all.
I hear where your passion is coming from, and I think in fairness, when you personalize it, your experience, you're gonna approach it because of your experience and the struggle and the difficulty of not having family or going through a situation where you was homeless, and of course, but and also in being fair and looking at the landscape. Because when I heard sis say, you know, she's working the overtime and she's putting in that work because of the construct the way that it is, because the system that we live up under, which is capitalism. Everything is about that bottom line. Okay, you can't really do a whole lot in this country without the finances, without access to the money or the currency or understanding what contracts and loans and credit and all of this stuff. And it's easy to get caught up when you don't have the knowledge or the information. And it's easy to get caught up when you do. Because sometimes when we're not in control and we don't have the discipline, like myself, and I'm being totally honest here, got out of prison, thinking what I learned outside the construct, but understanding within the system through my business class how to navigate the system. I was able to come home and get my credit score to a 767. I came home focused, and I lost focus. I mean, like I really lost focus, and like you say, it changed in the blinking of an eye. But the one thing about outside the box, what we're trying to get to and what we're trying to expose is when we talk about group operation and group cooperation, how can we take the burden off each other? Because as a collective, as so-called black people in this country, just us, I just want to focus on us for a second. We have trillions of dollars that run through our hands. I know they damn sure run through mine. Okay. But we have the purchasing power to do a lot of things, but the sad reality about the construct from the negative aspect of it, we're separated. We like deer out here. We're isolated and we're alone. We got relationships that don't work. We have single parenting homes. We have these gender wars that go on where we don't unite with one another. So we easily targeted. And it starts from birth. It starts from the roles that they start molding us and shaping us in the classes that they're going to put us in. This is how it works. So yes, you when you look at the world the way that it is, we know that those that give us our sense of values, those that give us our sense of through what we call innovation when it comes to clothing, entertainment, or whatever, we know that it's about the bottom line. And we also know that those that control the construct, when they play with inflation, yeah, the cost of living is going to go up high because those who hold the reins of these constructs, the politicians, the business owners, and those who influence policies and laws, the way that they do it, they're going to put tremendous pressure on the masses of the people. So if the masses of the people don't understand that we're captured, like someone, they really hijacked our minds. We never had a chance from the beginning unless we were born into wealth. Okay? So when you don't attach the mind to the type of truth that can free it or help it understand the system, right? That it doesn't get caught up in those things that don't give it the ability to accumulate the knowledge to have the discipline or the self-discipline or how to take these medium of exchange and use it for investing to where materialism is not the priority. How I look, because we all want to look nice. Don't get me wrong. Nobody's saying be out here and be looking like a rag doll. As you said, you want to be presentable. You want to be decent. We do understand that Michael Kors, Gucci, and all that other stuff, them people doing very well. Their families are set because the people help their families to be set. But you can't really be mad at them because they had an idea to go into business. What it's boiling down to, can we acquire the discipline to say, hey, Gucci, you got your thing. What can we do for us to get ours? So when I talk about the construct, when I talk about group operation, which I had 28 long years in my study, when it comes to understanding this corporate structure called America and this capitalistic society that teaches us how to be materialistic so that they can do what? Exactly what you said. Shuffle on us through the system, get us in the school to get the good job to do what? Get the money to do what? Spend it. Well, the dollars don't even stay in our communities for a day. Jewish people money circulate within their communities 100%. Can't be mad at them. They understand what group operation and group cooperation is. White people, they do the same. They money circulate in their communities, right? Damn near 100%. But what's happening with us, people of color, we don't have that concept because we're more consumer than producer. Okay? So if the masses or the collective don't have the understanding of why we do these things, or why we don't have the thought patterns to elevate, we're gonna work ourselves to death because that is the way it was by design. From the time our ancestors got here, no, they didn't get here, was brought here on the bottom of those ships, or came or was brought here as indentured serfs. We've been working. We are the best slaves that they ever had, the best commodities that they ever had. And it's a continuation. So if we don't learn what these constructs are, if we don't learn how to navigate this system by understanding it, meaning sometimes we're going to have to step away from Walt Disney World. We're going to have to step away from the vacation. We're going to have to step away from the concerts. We're going to have to step away from a lot of things that bind us and keep us down. We're going to have to do that. Not saying that we can't go travel. Not saying that, hell, if you can get a pair of Michael Kors, get some Michael Kors from Gucci, fine, if you can afford it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. If you can afford to do it. But when we look at the masses, when we look at our condition, I know I'm looking at mine. What can I do to alleviate the burden off of the single parent that has the child that the father is not there, or the single father who does not have the mother there, but the child is there? How can we take our relationships when we working as hard as we can, but we living in separate buildings and we paying again rent, like TT said, rent going up $200-300. You know, and some of these places ain't even worth it. The thing is, we have to learn how to come together, pool our resources, get past these petty emotional things, and do something for us. We talk about this all the time, Salty. We can bankroll whatever we want to bankroll if we knew how to come together as a collective and pool our resources. That's what it's boiling down to. The priorities. Our priorities, they not in line. And for those that have their priorities in line, salute to you. Because we're not here to bash, we're not here to judge. We're here simply to say our way of thinking that was given to us is not benefiting us. It's benefiting somebody else. And it needs to start benefiting us. You got something, Salty, you want to say?
No, we can play the messages because it's been a while.
Let's get to these.
No, Salty Coffee, I get everything you're saying, sweetie. Everything. Okay. It's just that. She's taught what is, you know, valuable, and her self-worth and all of that. And so my other two kids who are college graduates as well. She wants to be a veterinarian. Right now she's going to a high school that has veterinarian courses. So when she gets to college, it'll be a little easier for her. I teach her those things as far as what it's worth. But you know how, like, when you were a kid, if I don't know how many of y'all, but my mom didn't have shit, so I try to do whatever um, for her, so that she don't have to feel like I feel like the outcast in school because your mom or parents are unable to buy.
And I thank you for that. No, I was very poor. We didn't have a TV. We didn't, like, that's not. So what did I do as a kid? Because we needed to help. I felt in my little 10-year-old self that I needed to help my mom. So I never got my hair done. My mom just did my hair herself, with the big braids, and that's like 70s things and 80s things. And no, I to be honest with you, I really did not know I was poor until I grew up and saw what how people lived, other people who did have and was better off. But I would tutor kids in the building and make $150 and give it all to my mom. I would wash, and like, we had chores, we had things to do. And I think that sometimes we want to give our children what we didn't have, that we're actually creating a disservice to them, because she's going to grow up thinking that, yes, this is how life is and I get everything. And I'm not saying this is going to be how she is, because your daughter is great and amazing how you described her. But, and I know you're a terrific mom, and only our children really can validate how our parenting was. But no, I grew up very poor. I didn't have anything. And I tried to continue that lifestyle because I know that that's not important. I know my mom always said, your education is far more important. A man is never going to like a dumb woman. And I said this before on here, and I think it's true. I think it's true. But at the same time, it was a disservice because I'm so strong, and I try to do it all, and I try to do it all by myself. And what Icon is saying is, let's try to get the family together as a collective to understand that this is an issue. We're not going to get any better if we continue to isolate ourselves and try to do things all on our own.
I'm sorry, I don't know. I think it got cut off. I don't know because it said trash can. But yeah, I try to teach her all of those things, the things that are valuable, just like I taught the other two. They're criminal justice majors, and she wants to be a veterinarian. I just don't. I don't know. I just be holding my head down, working, and I be so freaking tired. Shoot, my mom be like, "Man, we gonna come visit me." I can't because I'm so tired. On my day, I get 2 days off, but one of those days I try to work for overtime. And I be tired when I get that day off, and I just be wanting to be at home and don't want to be bothered. So, just want to rest. So, yeah. So, if there are some courses that you guys have that can teach me something different, I would absolutely take it.
And that, thank you, TT. And that's that. When she first said that, when I first heard her say that, because God knows there are many days that I just don't want to get up and go do it, because I'm at it 7 days a week, and I'm looking at my surroundings and saying, I know I fumbled the ball, but still, I know growing up, I was always taught that there's more than one way to skin a cat. That might be some country stuff, because it is more than one way to skin a cat, right? There are multiple ways you can get a lot of things done if you're willing to overcome. Again, let's not lose sight of the premise of why we're here having this conversation. It's purely about the architects of a system, a government that came out of the minds of men who had an idea of how they thought the world should look for them, as they was running away from England and running away from Spain and running away from Portugal. Okay, they discovered a land where people was already at. There was taxation without representation. When you go back, when you study history, you'll begin to understand what actually happened with the Caucasian people that came over here that was trying to get away from some stuff. And they seen an opportunity to build a world for themselves, because they came in, they seen that our indigenous brothers that was over here, they wasn't doing nothing with the land. They was nomads, but they respected the earth. They respected nature, right? But these people came with an idea like, you know what? All this land, they come in, you learn the language, you learn the people, you learn the culture, you learn how to move out, and we teach them. They understood that, you know what? We can stay linked up to the king over in Europe, right? Long enough for us to start building the world. So once they discover it, they went to sending for more people to come. And they went to creating out of thin air these rules and laws that said, oh, by the mark of the king, we can take this land, or we can do, and they was ready to kill and do whatever they had to do to get it. Now, in our history classes, we was reading all of this here, but we didn't know what we was looking at, because we don't supposed to get involved with the affairs of the country to that level. And they don't really go into the science of what that is. When we was hearing about the Dark Ages, the Renaissance, and the Golden Age, what did that really mean? Okay? So therefore, the architects of what has happened here and the vast resources, again, when we talk about poverty, when we talk about people being homeless, the earth produces an abundance of everything that will feed every person here. So no one needs to be poor. No one needs to be working themselves to death, but we do. And there's a reason for that. And that's the whole point of outside the box and talking about the social constructs, the architects of it. And trust me when I tell you, there are poor white people that's suffering. There are poor Hispanic people suffering. There are poor black people suffering. There are poor Asian people suffering, not just up on the capitalism, but socialism. And what's that other one? Communism.
Communism.
Because these people that run these constructs or built these constructs and their progeny that was handed these inheritance from them to maintain the power, they made sure that they got the understanding of what group operation was and group cooperation, what that is and what it means. Because if you don't hold control of that, and if we can't keep the masses of the people dumbed down, if they ever wake up and discover the trick that we played, they're going to feel entitled, which we should be entitled, because this earth is here for every living thing, animated or inanimated. That's what we talk about when we talk about outside the box. And we talk about stepping away from what we've been brainwashed in, what we've been indoctrinated in. Because we didn't have no say-so how these institutions came about, what the mission statement was, or the Constitution of this country. A beautiful written document, but never being put into practice. So if we don't start to look towards us, to help us, but remain in a position where we're dependent on outside forces that really don't care nothing about us, we really don't have room to complain. I don't want to see sisters have to go to work and be dead tired. I know none of us like that work, but we get up and we do it because we do understand that in order for us to have, we got to keep moving. Because we don't have a nation of our own. But what we're trying to get across to the people is, regardless if we have a nation or not, we have each other. If we ever can get past the pettiness of us because of these constructs, where men against men, women against women, again, how can I say I'm an advocate for the people if I'm not willing to sacrifice my emotions to do what? Bring the people together. If I'm going to use my voice to be divisive, right? Then I'm really showing myself to be a part of the problem. So if we're going to do this here, we got to step outside of what we've been learning from the time they put us in the killing fields called preschool, kindergarten, on up through elementary, high school, to college, and then push us out into the world doing what? The same damn things our parents did before us. But it depends on what class you're in. I wasn't handed down no legacy or no inheritance where I inherited millions of dollars or businesses and land. I don't have that, but that doesn't say I can't get it. And I can do a lot of things by myself and be selfish, but that's not the heart that the Most High put in me. I think we can do more things together if we just get out our own way and start to come together as a collective. By whatever way we can do that, because there are many ways to do it. And that's why I'm looked at as a controversial figure, because I talk about some things that's hard to talk about. I present some things to the table that's hard to really deal with. But I cannot be a true advocate or activist if my words, right, don't produce action. I can be deemed a liar. I can be deemed a hypocrite. So my actions got to match up with my words. If it come out my mouth, I should be willing to stand on that, because I see the dire need that's going on inside of our communities. I'm living in an apartment building that ain't worth a damn, paying $1,100. Okay, that's idiocy on my part. I should know better, right? And I do. But guess what? I got to get in a position where I can do something about it. And I can continue to work. I can continue to try to present these things that I know
by coming together. Let's eradicate these things so we can take the burden off each other. So my day and be tired working for a pension or 401k plan, and she don't work her life till she's 65, damn near 70, and then here come these people at the top playing with the money, misappropriating funds, not taking the money and putting it where it's supposed to go.
Hello, for those of you who are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate your attendance for the review of 2012. If 2022, if you want to continue, we will be on Stereo app to continue. Thank you, Miss Shelby, for stopping by and showing your beautiful music and sharing your life with us. Thank you.